Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Up Your Experience podcast. We're back for the third episode. That's right, we've made it 3 weeks in a row.
No way.
And I'm here with Swavage today.
What up?
And the first thing we're going to do, as we always do, is we are going to talk games of the week. Swav, I'll go ahead and let you start off.
All right. Well, I'm trying to think of if it was this week or last week, but I finally hit plat, so
I think that was this week.
it probably was. That feels good. It's been a while. Been stuck in gold, as you guys following along have realized. Let's see. I had a game where I had top pick and nobody wanted anything, so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna first pick a Vulcan. And that went well somehow. I don't understand it. I don't do well on Vulcan, and Vulcan's not a character you get away with top picking unless you're like pretty prime. So I guess this makes me pretty prime.
Was I in that game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That was our rank win, and then we had the game afterwards, where Ganesh refused to backline.
Oh,
and
that's
we lost.
right.
Yeah. Where
Imagine.
their Zhonghui got a pen, or their Zhonghui got a quadra, and then it was like me versus like 4 of them, and I got the wipe, but it don't matter how well you play. Some teammates just don't want to win. And then we had the ranked jousts with Foxy. The first one went really well. The second one we got against some of our buddies. Shout out to Synoptics and John. That wasn't fun. Well, I had fun.
I had fun as well. I just got stomped.
Oh, okay. Well, I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I got to play Opwash. Love that guy. Got to play some new characters I don't usually play. I had a pop off Discordia game. I don't really remember what happened, but I remember there were a few people who clipped it, so I'm gonna have to go back and watch those. We were against some other people from the Synoptics community who we know as well.
Yeah, we're against like Badger, TIH Vengeance, and JD Shadow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good game.
Yeah,
we had a random.
I
think they were in a 5 stack, and we had our 4 stack in a random. It was a good game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was pretty close. In that one game where Bill went Merc solo and I went Baron support, we just kind of ran it down together. That was fun. I think that's about it. Hasn't been too eventful.
I'm gonna start off my games of the week with the best thing. It might not be the best thing that happened this week, but it was the funniest thing that happened this week. Where Suave told a Zeus that kept dying in mid. I can't even remember the exact words, but it was like, "Shut up and quit being a jerk." And the guy just DC'd.
I said,
"Oh, dude, just shut up." That's what it was. Dude, just shut up. I did make a note of it. Yeah. And the guy just DC'd and left the game.
Yeah,
and I was like,
he was blamed it on me. I forget if I was the support or...
Yeah, I forgot. The dude didn't ward. He was Zeus mid.
Yeah,
I remember that.
He died once, and I was like, dude, you got a ward. And he was like, no. And then he died again, and I was like, he was pinging me and saying, okay. And I was like, shut up, you're dumb. And then he just DC'd at like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
I forgot about that one. Good call.
That was... I immediately wrote that one down for Games of the Week, just because it was so funny. Like, he was just trying to roast stuff, and you're like, just shut up, and the dude DC, and I was like, Suave, you're toxic now. You made a guy DC.
It's on him. It's on him.
I remember, so Friday I got on, I was like, all right, I got home from work, I'm chilling with Logan. I'm like, Logan, we're going to do a warm-up game of Smite. That way, we're ready for the scrims tonight. And I'm like, you know what I'm feeling like? I'm feeling like on her in Arena. All right, I'm not very good on her, but I popped off. I went 13, 4, and 16. And I feel bad for the enemy team, Sasano, because he went 26, 7, and 5 and lost. Like, he had 26 kills because he literally got... I had about, I think, 4 or 5 triple kills on my team. I think he got a quadra at one point, and I walked up to have him come at me, and I killed him, so he didn't get the penta.
That's sick.
And then later that night, we ended up not scrimming, but I did get back to what I'm best at, which is stealing objectives. I played Artemis and stole Fire Giant, and then the AMC was just chilling on Gold Fury, and I stole that too. And I finally hit 50 plus objective steals after my 2 years of playing Conquest now, so that's pretty sick. Uh, After that, I ran some Nox support with Sir Boss a lot, and I don't care what anybody says. Nox support is so much fun.
It is.
It's so much fun. And then I ran it down in some Guan Joust games with Suave and Boss as well, so that was pretty fun. Oh, we had that's the other one we forgot. The no-kill Neath game.
The Neath. Yeah.
We got into a Joust match, and this Neath beads under tower because one of us like accidentally walked into tower line at the beginning of the game. And then we made it a challenge to not kill the Neath the entire game, and it was so hard. It was so hard. Because when I was playing Guan, if I did an ability, I'd like chunk half her health easy. And I'm like, oh no. We actually did make sure her score line was 0, 0, and 0 at the end of the game, though, which I thought was pretty impressive.
Unfortunately, the Anubis had to suffer.
Yeah.
Someone did.
Someone had to pay the consequence. I just really wonder what the chat was like on the other side for the team.
I bet the Neath was being toxic as all hell. Like, stop feeding.
Stop feeding. I'm 0, 0, and 0.
I haven't died once. Why are you guys dying like 5 times, 8 times?
Oh, too funny. I ended up queuing some ranked on my own. I got mid, and Suave watched part of that. I picked Cuckoo. I stole Fire Giant. And ran it down. I just kind of went off that game.
This is true.
It was kind of an arena game though. Like the final kill count was 51-32, and those conquest games, while fun, just makes you question a lot about the skill range that you're in, game wise. I feel like.
Yeah.
Then we queued another ranked game. We killed because I played Achilles into chalk, and I dumpstered that man.
Mm-hmm.
And then we lost.
That was our win.
Yeah, oh, that's right. That was the game you picked Vulcan. Dude, I went off that Achilles game.
Mm-hmm.
You talked about our consistent losing streak now to Synoptics and John. We're at 3 in a row. We're doing really good. One day we'll win. One day.
Going for the reverse godlike. Got to get that 0-13 in there.
And then we queued Monday. We got some good games in Monday. I played E-Set in mid against a GM player. And I felt pretty good. Like, I actually did really well. And I feel like usually in those games, it's not that I don't do well. Like, I usually do, like, subpar. Like, I do okay. And the GM player is just absolutely nuts. But that game felt pretty good. And then, since we're recording, it's Wednesday we're recording. So, patch came out yesterday. We did get some patch day games in. I tried playing Gilgamesh and Arena for the first Gilgamesh game. Not the move. I queued solo by myself, and I was playing on my Xbox, and there was just no follow-up for anything I wanted to do. I played Tiamat in Assault, and I bought an item I have not bought in Season 8 yet, or in Season 8 PTS.
What?
I bought Alternate Timeline. And I almost pulled off a sick 2v1, but unfortunately, I didn't get an ability off in time and died. Then I played a Mori Jungle game last night with Majin Vio and Bill. Majin Busha, by the way. And popped off. Dude, Mori Jungle is so much fun. I haven't played that in forever. And usually when I play it, it doesn't go well. But last night, I ulted into Artemis and we ran it down on a Gilgamesh, and I kind of felt bad. Or no, it was an Achilles. But then after that, I just ulted into Gilgamesh the rest of the game. And double Gilgamesh ults is terrifying. And then the game of the day yesterday it was me, Suave, Bill, Vio, and Calamity, and we got matched against Oswald, and we almost won that game. It was such a good game. That was probably one of the most fun Conquest games I've played in a while. Like, that game was just good smite for both teams. Like, it was so back and forth. I didn't know I thought we were going to lose at one point, and then I thought we were going to win. It just went back and forth for like 30 straight minutes. It was a great game. I was playing Medusa with Bluestone, which we'll talk more about some item stuff in a bit, and felt pretty good, but not into a Chernenbog who built Destoll, Devos, and Aussie. Yeah, I mean, that man just was life-stealing for days. So that kind of wraps up my games of the week, though. A bunch of good games. I kind of mixed it up this week, tried to get some arenas and assaults in because that's been helping me enjoy Conquest a little bit more because Conquest, I've had the week before last, like I mentioned, I had some rough games, and this week was a little bit better, though. Leading into that, SPL is back, baby. This week it's back. We get to watch the pros play. We get to see what the pros do. All right?
We get to copy them. We get to see everyone copying their jank stuff in our casuals and rank games, watching them int on it. You just hope it's on the enemy team.
We get to watch them like pick some pick that doesn't make sense, and then they're like pop off on it, and then it ends up in our casuals, and we're like, but you're not Paul.
You're not Haddix. You're not Fine Okay. You're not Zapman. I don't want to see you playing this.
Yeah, it's okay. Let's start off with week one predictions first. We're gonna hit a couple topics here. We're gonna talk about week one predictions. We're gonna talk about SPL merch, and then we're gonna talk about what's gonna kind of lead into 8.4. We're gonna talk about god/items we might see, or we think we might see some pros play, because that was brought up by Baseball on Twitter. So we'll talk about that a little bit, even though I think we're probably gonna have to wait like a week or two to talk more about that. But let's start with SPL week one predictions. I have the schedule pulled up in front of me. And on Friday, we have Titans versus Kings. And I think the big thing we need to talk about before we talk about predictions is the fact that some players are going to be playing with EU ping. And to me, that means those teams are at a drastic disadvantage. And I don't think we're going to see their true potential until probably phase 2 when all those players get moved over.
Yeah, I think that it's an issue, sure, but we've seen stuff like that before. The GOAT Cherio.
Yep.
Namely, Homeboy was playing from Egypt on the EU servers back when they were all separated like that. So it's definitely doable. It just depends on, I guess, how comfortable they are with their ping. You just aren't going to see the Sylvanas out of them.
We have Titans versus Kings first. In Kings, we have Variety, Captain Twig, Big Man Things, Genetics, and Netroid with their coach Biggie. And I think this team is going to be really, really good. I think Netroid's if Netroid fits in good here, I think that team is probably going to pop off.
Genetics is the question mark for me.
Yeah, I think how that duo lane goes is really going to determine a lot.
Twiggy also hasn't really been in the jungle in a year, so that could also be rough, but he's always been good at it, so I'm not too worried about that.
They are going against Titans, who I think is kind of like the super team this year with Benji, Scary D, Paul, Aurora, Cyclospin, with Cherio as the coach. I know it's Scary D moving into the jungle, but I think in my week one prediction, I would take Titans. I think this team's going to slap.
I think that the Titans are gonna win, but I'm voting for the Kings. I'm gonna hope for them because they're a solid roster. I don't think it's gonna be too easy for the Titans, although I could be completely wrong. I think I got over half of my votes wrong last season just because I went for who I wanted to win instead of who I thought would win.
Yeah, so. I do that sometimes. And we'll talk about that because Game 2 is Leviathan versus Bolts, and you're going to see me voting Bolts a lot because I just like everybody on the team. Not that I don't like the other teams, I just enjoy the players on the Bolts, and I will generally throw my vote in hopes that the Bolts win.
I feel that. I agree.
Now our man Liane/Bill, I'm just going to keep calling him Bill, but he's a big Leviathans fan, and it's okay to be wrong sometimes because they're against the Bolts this week. And the Bolts are going to win. The Bolts are going to carry us to victory because they now have Haddix. Along with Lasbra, Venenu, Awesome Jake, Barracuda, and Roe as the coach. They're just going to win. They're just going to run it down, and they're going to win the game. They're going to beat the Leviathans. And the Leviathans are a really good team, and it hurt. I can't even say it without laughing. With Julio, Panatom, Shinto Rangyu, Yarkor, and I don't want to mess up the coach's name, but I believe it's Oxa Leedion? I might have messed that up. I think that team's going to be really good. I think Atlantis Leviathans are probably going to be top 2. I think we saw that first phase last year. They really came on. This roster has a swap and an addition this year, but like they were really strong during phase one last year, and then just really kind of, I don't know. I think they just kind of fell into the same play style and weren't able to do anything to adapt later on to the season. But I do think this is going to be a good team, and I would not be surprised if they stomp the Bolts. I don't know what your prediction is here, Swab, but I'm going Bolts just because I'm a fan.
I'm voting Bolts as well because I'm a Barra fanboy, have been since day one. But my question about the Leviathans, I know that Yarkor is gonna fit well into ADC. Like that's not a question. He's just good at 1v1s. I think he might even just like be better than Netrioid, to be honest. The question is, how will Julio fit in there? Will he be as good as Yarkor? Because Yarkor did so much for them coming out of the solo lane, where it's sick if Yarkor fills into ADC as well, or even better than Netrioid did. But if Julio can't fill those shoes that Yarkor is leaving over there in the short lane, then they might not be able to do nearly as well as they should do.
I agree. So those were the Friday games. The Saturday games, we have Oni Warriors versus Dre Dragons, and I think this is going to be a really fun matchup. I think this might go 3 games this week. Like this game, I'm hoping like it go. I hope it swings both ways. On Oni Warriors, we have Nika, Cuba Fred, Dardes, Neil Mall, Vote, and El Chuckles as the coach. And I just think this team's going to be sick. I think they're going to be really good. They are going against Jade Dragons, the team that always makes it to finals and never is able to finish out, unfortunately, with Final K, Stanford Soccer, Hurrywin, Polar Bear Mike, Panda Cat, and Kaboom as the coach. And I think Jade Dragons, with this change in mid, might be what they needed. And I don't think Captain Twig played bad last year. I just think Hurrywin needs bans.
I don't think that Panda played poorly the year before. I think that it's good that they finally have everyone playing where they want to play, and they have a mid laner in mid.
Yeah, like I think Hurrywin requires bans, and that's going to help them.
Oh yeah.
I think this is a tough one to call, but I think I picked Jade on my predictions. If I remember correctly,
I'm voting Jade as well. I could be wrong, but I've heard that at least one of the players on the Warriors, I want to say Vote, is playing on EU.
Yeah.
So that's an inherent disadvantage. Probably the worst person to have it on being your ADC, just because you're throwing out so many autos. Although it could be the best person to have it on because you're throwing out so many autos that if you miss one at 1 point, or if you miss one auto at 2.5 attack speed, it won't really hurt you too bad, depending on how that shakes out.
If these teams with EU players pop off and win some games, that's just telling us how big they're going to be once they get over here to the US. It's going to be nuts.
I completely agree.
I have another reason I'm picking Jade Dragons, but that's going to be when we talk about Spl Merge in a bit.
I'm a Fino stan, so I'm voting Jade Dragons every time. When it comes to the Dragons versus the Bolts, I gotta go for the Jade Dragons, unfortunately. But that won't be for a bit, so I won't have to break my own heart yet.
Our other Saturday match is the Bolts come back for another game, and this time they're against the Solar Scarabs, which is Solar Troll, Layers, Oberonic, Inbound, Zapman, and Slaney as the coach. I think the Scarabs, I'm excited to see where they end at the beginning of the season. I am worried about them in Phase 1. I think a lot of these players are newer to SPL compared to the rest of the SPL as a whole. And I'm curious to see how they do, but I am worried for this team. I do have the Bolts winning this game.
I also have the Bolts winning. I think it was either an F.dot video or it was the pros talking on the Backliners podcast. Shout out to those guys. But if Zapman plays like he did last season, this team isn't going to do well. We need the old Zapman back. Because like Zapman last season kind of just sat back and let Paul do his thing.
But yeah, he played passive.
He doesn't have Paul. He has he has Bobby in his lane. Like this needs this needs to be the most hyper aggressive lane we've seen in like the past 4 years.
Yeah, I'm hopeful to see where they go. I do think it's going to be like a learning curve at the beginning.
There's a whole lot of potential, and this team's gonna its early game is gonna look like I guess how Obey was playing at the end of the season last split.
Yeah.
The question is if they're going to be able to pull it together for a late game, or even if they're going to be able to get their games off to the start that Obey could.
Yeah. You said you took Bolts there, right?
Yeah.
After that, we have on Sunday we have the Jade Dragons versus the Camelot Kings. I don't know. I still think I have to go with Jade Dragons. Like I just don't. I think that team's just good.
Mm-hmm. I know stand here.
And I don't think Camelot Kings is bad. I just think Jade Dragons is going to be nuts. I think they're a team that's just going to come out and they're ready. They're ready to play. After that, our last matchup of the week is Solar Scarabs versus the Valhalla Valkyries. And Valhalla Valkyries is a team that I think is going to struggle phase 1, and not because of skill, but because of ping. They have Ducky, Johnny, Zeros, Iraffer, Emilito, and Tigress as the coach. To me, this team is stacked with talent, and it's just the fact of, I believe all 5 players are on EU ping right now. And that's going to make it really difficult. I do think that they could still beat the Solar Scarabs this week. I think I took Valhalla Valkyries despite EU ping.
Yeah, I took them as well. I'm a huge fan of Johnny. When we saw him last up high, or when I last saw him playing, really was 2 maps ago, back when he would run it down on that Kwang. Dude, it was inspiring. It made me want to play Kwang. I love watching his streams. He's a great guy. Fun to watch. I'm rooting for him. I like the rest of them as well. The question is, well, I guess it's that Emilito and Raffer are sit back kind of players. Wait till late game. Raffer loves his gebs. And Emilito, I'm not going to say he's washed. I haven't paid too much attention to him recently, but he could be washed. So
we'll
it's just making sure that they can all play at Johnny's tempo, and play the NA kind of style instead of the EU sit back. Because if they play that sit back style, I don't know they're going to be able to compete with the Scarabs.
I do think Zeros is pretty nuts though. So
absolutely.
I think they're going to be fun. We'll see. I think that's the one team I am worried about, just because they're all EU ping. But hopefully, in the long run, that doesn't really affect them after this phase 1 split. Anything else you want to add up for predictions before we move on?
I think I've hit everything.
All right. Well, we're moving on to the other SPL fun thing of the week, which was SPL merch has finally got released, and it looks sick. I think Hi-Rez did a good job. There's hoodies, jerseys, and T-shirts. They have things for
Apparently
each team.
Hats as well.
They have hats. They also have like just Smite Pro League stuff that they made. So if you don't want to have like a certain team that you're repping, you just want to represent Smite Pro League, and that even looks good. Like the Smite Pro League hoodie is sick. I think Jade Dragons is going to win this week because their hoodies and jerseys are impeccable.
I think that we need to just talk about the jerseys.
Just talk about the jerseys? Dude, the shirts are nuts too with the sayings on them. But the Jade Dragon jersey is nice. I also like the Bolts jersey. I think all the jerseys look good, but like those two I like the most.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you. Honestly, as someone who will be rooting for those two teams the most, those are my least favorite too. And I guess it's just because they aren't as clean. Like, I don't know how it's gonna be, but it looks like there's just gonna be a cutoff of color at the shoulders. If you guys want to pull it up at home, it's shop.smiteproleague.com. looking at the jerseys. For the Jade Dragons, it's green on the front, like up by the shoulders, but then it just cuts off into purple. And
No,
same
I'm sorry.
goes
That
for
is
the Bolts.
according to PBM. That is Jazzberry Jam, not purple.
Oh, my bad.
He had a whole video of it
Um,
on Twitter. If you haven't seen it,
oh
you should
man,
go watch it. It's amazing.
I think I'll do that after.
I
But
almost
you
went and
look at
bought their
the
stuff because of it.
if you look at the Scarabs one, there's a continuation over the shoulders.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
There's also a sick pattern how the color cuts in. I think the Titans and the Onis might be my favorite jerseys. I like those
You know,
patterns. I like those colors.
I just
And
realized the Onis with the sword.
with the katanas,
That
two.
is
There are two.
nice. Yeah,
There's the one that goes across the stomach, and then the one up by the shoulder. Those are
that's
sick.
sick. Okay, I
Also,
take it back. That
the
was pretty
Leviathans, the Leviathans one is sick. It's just sick with the Leviathan on the bottom. It's nice and clean. The Valkyries jersey also really nice. And then the Kings one is like they're all clean overall.
Yeah, I think they did a good
really
job.
good job. Hmm.
And I'm not a huge fan. I'm like I don't know. I probably won't buy a jersey, but I'll probably buy a hoodie and a shirt.
Yeah.
Like I like the look of the hoodies. Like even though it's heading into the summer, like I like the look of the hoodies. I think the shirts look clean too. They all have like a saying from the team, and I think that's pretty dope. So
Yeah,
I
if
look.
only if only the Jade Dragons one said this is Jazzberry Jam
That would be hilarious.
instead of our dynasty shall reign forever, just Jazzberry Jam.
Jazzberry Jam. It just
Put
has
that
the
in
dragon
quotes.
on it.
Put that in quotes. Hyphen PBM.
Yep.
I think
I
that's
would.
what it should be.
I'd buy that shirt.
Petition. Everyone go into at everyone at PBM. Hey, change the shirts.
Change the
Like
shirts. Make it say Jazzberry Jam or else. Oh man.
Or
But
we'll
I
riot.
do think Hi-Rez did a really good job on this merch. I was curious to see how it went, and I do think they did a really good job.
I agree.
Wait, SPL Dad Hat. That's actually the name of one of the hats. Sorry, I just went and
I
looked
think
at
it's
the hats.
just it's just a style.
It is. No, I know,
The hats
but
are all the
I
generic
always just
ones.
find it funny that it's called a dad hat. Baseball reached out to us on Twitter and said, "Hey, what god/items do you think people are sleeping on that we're going to see the pros exploit?" I haven't seen enough yet because the things that I've seen people exploiting, I don't know if the pros are going to want to do. Like, I'm curious to see this week, like, do we see a support start red buff and then immediately gank mid for an early kill? Because I personally think mid pressure pre 15 minutes is huge right now. But are the pros going to do that? I have no idea. And that's not even item related. That's strictly god related, like what gods they would pick. Like, you want to pick a Kerberos there. You could probably make it work with Jing Chen. It's a little bit harder, but you need a support that's going to allow you to get CC and damage off
Bacchus.
immediately.
With
Bacchus.
that buff.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
The mana consumption. Bacchus is gonna get played.
Oh,
I
actually,
think.
I do have some.
Better.
I do think there is one thing I think pros might exploit. I think
Yeah.
Ymir with upgraded Sunder start we might see this week.
I think that supports with upgraded Sunder start because you can go Bacchus with the flop. Like
Yeah.
you can go any support,
And
and
you
your level
delete.
like at the very worst, you're level 2. You're gonna get an ability that sets up Sunder, or you're gonna get an ability that follows up off the Sunder. So
Yeah,
it's
and
kind
that
of
god gets deleted. Like immediately gets deleted. I watched it in I think I was watching Zapman and it happened to him and I was like, holy, and then we tried it in one of our games and like it's just nuts. It's a nuts start, and I do think we'll see that this week. If we don't see it this week, I think we for sure see it next week. But I expect some spicy starts this week. So
Oh, yeah.
I do think that's one thing we'll see is like a high pressure support with upgraded Sunder.
I wonder, first off, if they're going to run ability-based hunter builds with Bluestone, and moreover on that point, if they're going to run a mid, because I don't know, because I don't personally think that Izanami is good in comp, but I think that with a Bluestone, you get an immense amount of pressure and then
Yeah.
you could have the ADC in the long lane go Hunter's Cowl,
Also, you're
or
in my
just
head because I
whatever.
was literally about to bring that up. I think Bluestone ability-based hunters are going to be insane.
I got absolutely railed by one in one game. Played it the next game, and I was the railer.
Yeah, I
So
played on Medusa last night, and if I wouldn't like I after I got out of lane against that triple lifesteal Chernobog, um, I was destroyed in fights. Like a Persephone tried to take a fight against me, and I just deleted her. The biggest problem is like you don't have sustain early, but that's fine. Like as long as you don't
it does
play.
have a solid amount of a solid amount of passive sustain. You're
Yes,
not gonna get the life steal that you would off Death Toll, but if you're patient enough, the 20 HP5 and 10 MP5 they add up.
yeah, it's huge.
Plus, you don't have to use as much mana because the Bluestone's extra damage.
Yeah, I really think that item's going to be insane. Like I think we'll see some Medusas, AMCs, Izanamis, that kind of stuff, and then what will end up happening is we'll see magical in the jungle. So probably like Hibwa, maybe I don't know if
Freya
we'll see.
jungle is sleeper as hell.
Maybe Poseidon. I don't know.
Let's
I
get
would
some
actually
Freya
wouldn't be
jungle.
surprised to see the Morgan as well. But that's kind of what I think right now. I don't think beyond that I have enough information with the newest update on what other things the pros will be exploiting. But those are I think Bluestone and then the early mid gank are the things that we could see
Yeah.
for sure. I don't know. Do you have any other ones you want to add there, Suave?
Um, I guess Jean Kui, but he's just been buffed, so he's kind of high profile at the moment.
Yeah.
I think that magical ADCs with Gilded Arrow also.
Yeah, I really like
Maybe
Gilded
that's just
Arrow.
a me thing. I think Gilded
No.
Arrow in general gonna be used, but I think magical arrow or magical hunters with Gilded Arrow kind of sick, just because the way that damage scales on their auto attacks.
Well, and the reason I like Gilded Arrow is I get camped a lot. So
You could say that.
if I get behind in gold, Gilded Arrow allows me to at least kind of like put a band-aid on the wound.
Oh, you just reminded me of a great game I had the other day.
Oh no.
It wasn't on my history. So, I was I was against a Hu Yi in lane, playing Olaron. My Terra runs up, kind of dies. We get double killed by the Kabrak and Hu Yi, and I was like, oh well, this is gonna be one of those games, isn't it? So I'm like, Terra, just rotate. Let me sit under tower in peace. I kid you not. I just stood behind my tier 1 tower, just like dancing, or not dancing, just like waving and jumping around and emoting, while the Hui was freezing waves. Like, he was 4 levels up on me at that point, and he left. And I just got the farm online. Then eventually, I got to rotate into the team fights. I went from 0-5 and 0 to 11-5 and 1.
Jeez.
Just because, yeah, they stopped sitting on me. They're like, okay, this guy's just gonna sit under tower for 10 minutes. We'll let him do that, and we'll leave. And they did, and I came online, and I ended up fragging. So if you're ever getting zoned out hard like that, and it's not like a high stakes game, there's absolutely nothing wrong with just like sitting back. Because if you run up with no help, you're just gonna die. You know,
Facts.
you're better off either going into the jungle to put a camp on cooldown, get a little farm that way. If you're getting zoned out because you're low health, just back. Like, they can kill you under your tower. Just back, get the full health, then they can't zone you out. Or if you're full health, just behind, and your team wants to do stuff elsewhere, that's okay. Just, they'll get bored. People get bored. It's not fun. They'll get bored and they'll rotate. So if you need to, it's a valid strategy. It's a valid
Or
option.
just do what I do in that situation: sit in our tower and then have the support blink, freeze you, ult you. The jungle shows up and blinks and kills you, and then you're doing your job.
Yeah,
You're
exactly. You're getting all their cooldowns.
there.
It's what I call an absolute win.
Yeah, it's a win. It just doesn't feel like it for you as your as your own self.
It feels like a win for me.
It feels like a win for the rest of the team, just not you. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So yesterday we did get a new patch. We got 8.4. We got Gilgamesh, who is super duper fun. So the first thing I have written down here, Suave, is what are we enjoying about the patch? And I have my one thing I'm enjoying. I have two things that I'm really enjoying about the patch. I have three, I guess. Drop kick, it's super fun.
Hmm.
Um, the new Artemis skin and Medusa skins are really sick. Chiron skins really good too. All of the skins are like nuts, but those are the I don't think I've seen the Ares skin in game yet. I've seen Discord. I played the Discordia skin. It was all right, but the Chiron, Medusa, Artemis are all like top notch. I haven't seen the Merlin one yet. Um, and then the Vine Walls. Oh, the Scylla skin is nasty too. That one's really
Oh
good.
yeah,
Um, the Vine Walls. Vine Walls, I love them.
I do too. It's
I
just a new it's just new. It's
yeah
new. It's little cul-de-sacs to fight in. And I actually had a fight in one of my casuals earlier where both of them were up and it was a just 2v2 skirmish in there, just like a battle to the death. Because no one wants to be the one to turn around and auto attack it, because then the enemy is getting the free damage off.
yeah.
It was fun. It was new. It was something that I'd never seen before. So
I like the
I'm
fact
all for
too.
that.
You can start gold and leave the one other side up, and leave the side you want to escape on down, and it just brings like a whole thing in where they have to take down a wall to get to you, or they have to walk in and put a wall behind them where they want to be able to run out. I don't know. I just really like it because I think it slows things down just a smidge, but I also think it just adds very unique fighting mechanics to the game right now.
Yeah.
So I think that's fun. Actually, this reminded me that by playing Gilgamesh, I played him in Assault today, and you get your free item at the beginning of the game. And I started the game with Pesty because I had a lot of healing, and I bought War Flag because it was good for my team. And then I walked up and got Tier 1 Gaia right at the beginning of the game. I was playing with some of the bot G crew. I was playing with Fro Double G, Stoffmeister. I forgot the other two people were like that was the first time I played with them, but it was a fun time. We ran it down. We won that game. They ended up surrendering, and I was like, dang. But at one point, I think Stoffmeister was playing Apollo, and he's like, I gotta go die real quick, and he ults into their fountain, and the enemy team turned to go run after him. uh, I'm glad I thought about that. I just thought that was so funny because he just like dives right into their fountain and dies, and like they turned around and wasted time for that rather than defending a Phoenix.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
so that was fun. Other than that, I think those are my like the main things. Oh, and the skybox change is huge. I love
Oh
it.
yeah. Dude, the map looks so clean. Especially just like even when the vine walls are down, just the vines, just like the vines on the walls where the vine walls spawn from. It's just aesthetically pleasing. I haven't gotten to play a flying god yet. I haven't thought about it, but I can't wait to see the invisible foliage tech.
Oh yeah, I want to try that too. I want to try Rama. Maybe I'll do that tonight because I'm gonna hit up the stream after we get done recording.
Oh, sick.
Um. Oh, by the way, twitch.tv/BlaiseMcBaine. Uh,
Drop a prime sub on that.
the I had something. Oh yeah, there's lightning that you can see in the sky too, and I think that's an
Hmm.
awesome touch because I think it's like something so small, but like just brings the map alive even more. I don't know.
And
I just really love it.
the symbols on the towers in the mid lane, just the bright iridescent blue, just like in the darkness, and also the shadows. Like they put a lot of work into the shadows, and you can kind of see just like everything get darker as you walk out of fountain. At least on the order side,
Yeah.
everything gets darker.
I don't know. I just really like it. I think they did a really good job. Like the whole living map idea is so cool, and I'm glad they were able to execute it without a ton of issues.
And I can't wait to see what they do next with it, because this
Yeah,
is absolutely something they're gonna keep in mind for in the future.
100%, 100%. Was there any other highlights or anything good or bad from patch notes we want to talk about?
Um, I like I th- I think I like all the changes they did with the starter items and their upgrades. I haven't messed around with leaders cal too much, but that's going to be something I try out a little bit. I'm not entirely sure how the passive works because it says 5 and then an extra 3. So would that mean that if it's a 5v5, you'd get 2% because the first stack is 5, or do you just get like a passive 5%? I don't know.
We
I
gotta
have to
mess with
figure
that and
that
figure that
out.
out. Yeah.
Um, but the gilded arrow buffs or the ornate arrow buffs making that not feel like crap to buy. Um, the death toll and Bumba's hammer nerfs where you can't just like proc the passive off immune camps. That's kind of important. Tsukiyomi could just stand there spamming his 1 and 3 and getting that up for free at like 1 HP. Some things just aren't meant to happen, and that's one of them. Um, and the Sentinels, I like what they did with Sentinels
Yeah, the
because they made
Sentinels
it.
change is actually, I think, good.
Yeah, because the support's not the one losing out on it. And even honestly, if you're building it on a mid laner or on a solo laner, you're not losing anything for yourself. It's just like a little decrease in the auras. But if you're
Yeah,
just buying it for yourself anyways, it doesn't feel any different.
it
So
feels better.
it's a good, yeah. And then as far as the Warriors, as far as Sundering Axe goes, I did some quick math, and I believe you need over 250 of each prot or equivalent numbers, so you could go like 325 and have like 175. You need at least 500 prots for the passive to do more, but you can get over the 10% current. You could get it up to like 12, I think, if you build enough. So if you're building squishy, it's not going to feel as good. It's going to be okay, but if you're a mid laner, you could just get archmages that'll do a little more, or you could go sentinels, which will just make you overall tankier. That's about all I got for that.
I forgot the tier 2 tower change where the increased base HP and damage came in this patch. And then
I haven't
I
felt it
did
too much.
I didn't feel that too much, but I did notice the greater scorpion change with like making it less tanky.
Yes, I
That
did
that
too.
was feelable last night, and I think it was a good change.
hmm It was
Um,
so tanky.
it was, and like now you can at least as a carry go over there and not die. If you want to solo it, that feels pretty good. Other than that, I think that's pretty much everything I have for patch notes.
Same here.
Well, that leads us to our random question of the week.
Okay, hit me with it.
What is your favorite baked good?
Um, I myself am biased to churros. You get some colacao with that. It's like really thick hot chocolate, kind of like microwaved Hershey syrup.
Hmm,
You dip that or dip the churros in that. Dip that in some powdered sugar. Um,
that sounds
I
really good.
believe they also have like kind of girthier churros. I'm gonna butcher the word. I
Oh
haven't
no.
I haven't said it in a while. Uh, I can't. My mouth is too dry for me to try it. Um, but it's spelled Porras or Porrhas. I'm not gonna embarrass myself by saying it today. I tried it earlier. I couldn't say it like I once could. I used to be good at Spanish. It's just a bigger kind of churro,
Hmm,
with no sugar on it already. So it's more savory, I guess, if that's even possible. I don't know. All time favorite though.
interesting. I support
Krispy
this.
Kreme donuts also kind of slap.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, Swab. I don't
did
know if
I
we can be
did I
friends anymore. Oh my god.
what?
This hurt. Krispy Kreme donuts? You said Krispy Kreme, right? I heard that right with the K?
Yeah,
Oh
why?
god, dude. Krispy Kreme donuts are disgusting.
Glazed. Not any other type. Not any other type.
Just the regular glazed ones?
If I want any flavored donuts, I'm going to Dunkin'.
Okay,
But
okay. Then this is okay. I'm
but
alright. I
glazed,
I thought you
pure
meant like
glazed,
just like
hot now.
I thought you meant like any Krispy Kreme donut other than that.
No,
I was like, oh
no,
god, they're so bad, dude.
no,
Like
no.
they do that at work. They're like, oh, we got you guys breakfast, and it's like donuts, and you walk in, it's Krispy Kreme donuts, and it's all like not the glazed ones.
See, but whenever you see the hot now, dude, on they have it every year for Halloween, at least here, to where if you go in with a costume, you get a free glazed donut, and they're hot now.
I
Mm,
mean, like
Nothing beats that.
I mean, they're all right. I mean, I thought you were talking about the other ones too, and I was
No,
like, I don't know how
no,
anybody eats those, dude.
no. I don't
No,
think I've ever tried one.
Dunkin' Donuts slap.
I agree.
They're just good. There's a place we
agree.
have in town called Shipley's Donuts, and those are really good too. They have a cinnamon twist donut with cinnamon sugar, and those are really good.
We have a place
I
called
actually had one of those
Nicola's,
today.
but their variety packs kind of stunk.
Mm.
So everyone would always bring them into my middle school advisory meetings,
Oh,
and I being the gentleman I am, would always just like sit back and chill because I didn't really care. So I'd always get stuck with jelly filled.
ugh,
I'm not saying jelly filled are bad. I'm just not personally a fan of them.
they're bad.
So I
It's
would
okay.
just, yeah, I'm not
I'll
a fan
say
of
it.
them.
I'll say they're bad.
I'm not a fan of them. I'd get stuck with them. Unfortunate.
I'm a fan of brownies, dude.
Oh yeah.
I love brownies. Brownies are
Oh
good.
yeah. Mm.
Other than that, I think that's my quintessential like good baked good. Like I'm not a huge like cake fan. Like cake's okay, but like
My aunt, dude, she makes
brownies.
the best chocolate cake. It is so rich. It is so good.
Oh, sopapilla. That's another good like I don't know. Does that count as a baked good? I don't know, but sopapilla is delicious too. You bake it. I mean, it has to be a baked good. It's just weird because you put it in the fridge afterward because it has cream cheese. But you know, whatever. It's delicious.
I mean, would we count tiramisu
I don't know.
as baked? Because I mean, you bake parts that go into it, right? You bake the lady fingers.
I don't know. Sopapilla,
I
you
don't
bake
know.
the whole thing. Like it goes in the oven, you bake it.
Yeah, so it would count.
I don't know. Brownies for me though. Brownies, like some cookies, but overall, like brownies are the thing. Other than that, I'm not too much about the baked of goods. If I lived in Hawaii still, they had malasadas, which were it was like a donut, and it was really really good. But they don't sell those here, so it's really unfortunate.
Damn. Order them. Amazon.
I don't
It
think
wouldn't be the same.
no. No. The only thing I would order from like Hawaii or overseas would be CC lemon, which is a drink I had in Japan. It's like a lemon. It's a lemon drink that has like the vitamin C of some ridiculous amount of lemons. And I found a shop next to it's a Japanese shop next to a Japanese restaurant in Nashville that carries them. And
Oh,
I
that's
go
kinda
there
cool.
and buy them whenever I can. Though I went the other day and they only had one, so tough for me. That's the only one I got.
If I ever end up in Nashville, I'm gonna ask you for that. I wanna
Dude,
give
they're
it a
so
shot.
good. They're so good. Other than that, that's pretty much it for the week. Our plugs for this week, there's AGL signups going on. So if you want to play competitive Smite, go check out Albion Giants League. I'm part of Upper Management. Suave is part of the new commissioners
Yes,
for
sir.
next season. So go check that out. If you want to play in a 2v2 Joust tournament this Saturday, which would be April 24th, there are signups on the Asgard Okami Twitter. Go check it out. The cash prize, I think it's $25 a person, if I remember correctly.
I believe so.
The Kenny Alpha is hosting it, so go hit him up with questions. But other than that, that's all I
Spam
got
him
for the
with
week.
them.
Yeah, spam him. Go into Discord for Asgard Okami, or just go into my Discord, any of the Discords or Twitter, and just at Kenny Alpha.
Yeah, you don't even have to say anything. Just
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
at Kenny Alpha. He'll know. He probably won't, but he'll know. He'll be like,
he'll figure it out.
He'll be like-
he'll listen to the episode or
yeah, he'll be like, Blaze and Suave were up to something.
just at Kenny Alpha, listen to the episode.
And then do one at Gilly,
Oh yeah.
just to really throw it off just a little bit.
Mhm.
He doesn't have enough
And-
DMs right now, so he needs a few more. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
He's gonna be
And
so
if you're
he's gonna be
feeling
so
really-
mad when he listens to that. Yo, shout out to Gilly for making our logo.
Yeah.
Yeah, just DM
And,
Gilly.
and
Just
if
say
you-
hi.
If you're feeling extra spicy, drop an ad at Majin.
Oh,
Show him the love.
yeah.
Show Majin some love. Great guy.
All right, well, let's get on out of here. I've been your host for the day, BlaiseMcBaine, and Suave is here
I'm-
with me.
I'm once again asking you
Oh God,
to
here we go.
slam a prime sub to your pal BlaiseMcBaine, TTV BlaiseMcBaine.
Why are you and Bill like this?
I'm like this because Bill's like this. You
Wow.
know that.
I'm not even gonna edit it out. I'm gonna leave it. All right, all right, everyone. Bye.
Bye.